With the first wave of NFL free agency in the books, how much did Arizona Cardinals GM Monty Ossenfort help himself ahead of the 2025 NFL Draft? PHNX Cardinals is your home for Arizona Cardinal draft coverage. Hit that like button. Do you like what you see? Does Monty Ossenfort like his roster ahead of the draft? Will it allow him to go BPA, or should the Arizona Cardinals remain staunchly fed in their efforts to bolster their front seven? We're going to do all that and more here in a 7-round Arizona Cardinals specific mock draft. Now, again, got to be thankful for the additions of guys like Dalvin Tomlinson, Josh Sweat, the big heavies up front. But when you're starting from practically nothing, with all due respect, Monty Ossenfort, you have to continue to double dip. And with the strength of this draft in 2025 being defensive line heavy, I don't expect Monty Ossenfort to go road. I expect him to continue to flush that position group. I expect him to look at a defensive end, to look at an edge rusher, to look at a defensive tackle in the first round. In all actuality, I think their preference at this point ahead of the draft is to go edge rusher in the first round. But the question then becomes, if you look at our guy Fran Duffy via the All City Network Draft Insider and his premier elite draft guide, is there an edge rusher worthy for the Arizona Cardinals to select its pick 16? Not just about the physical traits, not just about the on-field stuff. I'm talking off the field, character concerns. Does Mike Green make sense? Maybe on third down he makes sense, but what about in the Cardinals locker room? Does James Pierce Jr. and his quote-unquote bad hang tendencies allow Ossenfort and Jonathan Gannon to take a pause? I think that it does. So while those two players may be top 15, top 20 players on a lot of big boards, I think the Cardinals stay away. And outside of a fall from grace for a Mykel Williams or a Jalen Walker fits the bill, I think the Cardinals go safe, maybe a little bit conservative, a high floor guy, 16th overall in the first round. How about Michigan's defensive tackle, national champion Kenneth Grant? Now, our guy Fran Duffy's got him as a fringe first rounder, but I'm here to tell you, again, the Arizona Cardinals, after hitting home runs with Paris Johnson Jr., going big last year with Marvin Harrison Jr., you just need to continue to stack wins in the first round. That's something that ex-GM Steve Keim did not know anything about. At the end of the day, he was reaching on guys with character concerns like Robert Kimdichie. He was reaching on guys like Isaiah Simmons, didn't have a traditional position, didn't love football. Kenneth Grant loves football, and he's damn good at it, right? The best quote I heard about him is he doesn't carry bad weight on his massive 6'3", 340-pound frame. He actually comps a lot like the Arizona Cardinals' recent signing in 31-year-old Dalvin Tomlinson. But you get him in his early 20s. You get him on a 5-year rookie contract, and you get a guy that can immediately come in and help you bolster that defensive line where, again, the floor is just too low with guys like Bilal Nichols and Justin Jones. So I think the Arizona Cardinals would sprint at the opportunity, would leap at the opportunity to draft Kenneth Grant. Again, national champion, Jim Harbaugh pedigree with the Michigan Wolverines. What more can you ask for? Let's look ahead now to round 2. And you might be thinking to yourself, do you have to force an edge rusher pick here, right? You added Josh Sweat in free agency. You re-signed Baron Browning, modest 2-year deal. You could probably make it work one more year with Baron Browning. But should you have to, right? Get some juice at that position. I think the Cardinals are in a great spot. If they opt to go defensive tackle in the first round, there will be some second-tier edge guys like JT from Ohio State that I know Bo liked in his first mock draft that are going to be available. But there's another player that should be available, at least for a potential trade-up. How about Landon Jackson, edge rusher, Arkansas, put on an absolute freak show performance at last month's Indianapolis NFL Combine. We actually chatted with Landon Jackson after the workout on the plane. He's actually training here in Phoenix, and he did meet with the Arizona Cardinals. He's got length. He's got size. He's got explosiveness. He's somebody that immediately could come in opposite Baron Browning. Baron Browning has first and second down. Here comes Landon Jackson to provide some heat opposite Josh Sweat on obvious passing situations. Bulk him up a little bit, get him ready to roll full time on this defensive line in 2026. So immediately pick 16, pick 47th overall, 2 guys with high floors. Landon Jackson in particular has a high ceiling that should be staples alongside guys like Sweat, Darius Robinson, etc. So we took care of the defensive line. Do we go back to the well? No, we go on the flip side. The line of scrimmage continues an overhaul for the Arizona Cardinals. How about Emory Jones, offensive tackle, LSU? Now, the Arizona Cardinals, they need a right tackle of the future. Emory Jones, I'm told, can play either side. When you have Paris Johnson Jr., left tackle is obviously secure, but Jonah Williams coming off major injury. We haven't seen him since that Carolina loss when he was on crutches. The team wisely, smartly re-signed stalwart Kelvin Beachum. They would be even smarter now. Get an heir apparent ready. Get a young man out of the SEC that played at a big-time program to come in, ride the bench for the year, get your body ready, very similar to Isaiah Adams, who's the right guard now. Get that young man ready to play in 2026. And if he has to come off the bench, so be it. But the Cardinals have enough depth at tackle where they can use a top 100 selection as a stalwart of the future that isn't Steve Keim-esque rush to play right away. Again, Emory Jones, he's got great feet. He's got big, massive arms that will help him corral some of these elite edge rushers in the NFC West. And again, he's got a solid third-round grade, 85th overall by our guy Fran Duffy at All City Network. So I don't have an issue taking him 78th overall. A lot of people might look at my picks a little conservative, Johnny. When the Arizona Cardinals are on the cusp of making the postseason, right, these need to be refortifying picks. So when Bilal Nichols and Justin Jones and Jonah Williams all head out the door, you've got young studs in your program for 12 to 18 months that can come in and make an impact. And speaking of making an impact, speaking of talking about thinking long-term, right, Monty Ossenfort, Jonathan Gannon deserve the right to at least sniff around the quarterback market, right? Kyler Murray's doing and saying all the right things, right? Kyler Murray wants to win, wants to bring a Super Bowl. But I'm going to tell you right now, if the Arizona Cardinals want to take a quarterback, we should all be okay with that. Even with the addition of Jacoby Brissett, who I love, how about Jalen Milroe, Alabama quarterback, developmental guy, at 115th overall in the fourth round. Are you kidding me? His combine was a little bit up and down, but we're told he crushed it in the interview process. He's got a big time arm. And of course, the mobility is something that none of us have ever questioned. Go turn on the Georgia tape from last year. He's dominating all these guys we're talking about, like Mikael Williams, like Jalen Walker. Again, not somebody I feel comfortable drafting in the first couple of rounds, but if you're able to start day 3 of the draft and get a guy right around the same area of where Dak Prescott was drafted once upon a time, getting into your program, you're telling me you wouldn't love to have a quarterback room of Jalen Milroe, Jacoby Brissett, and Kyler Murray? Talk about an upgrade for this team. And again, does it pose more questions than answers come 2026? But if Kyler Murray's not ready to take that on, then maybe he's not the guy. But I think it's going to light a fire under him, having these new bodies. It could breathe new life into that room and get the best out of everybody. And speaking of getting the best out of everybody, this is a player at 152nd overall that once upon a time I was bullish on. I thought could be a firm top 30, 40 selection, and he might just sneak in his way into the top 100. But right now, Jack Sawyer, edge rusher from Ohio State, didn't do himself a lot of favors. Is this just, at the end of the day, a really high-end college player with a limited NFL ceiling? Now, he did meet with the Arizona Cardinals at the Combine. I do think that he's probably going to go higher than this point. Of course, our guy Fran Duffy at All City Network believes he should be a top 100 pick. But guys like this always fall. You question the lower body strength, the explosiveness, the power. He's just a great teammate, a great player at Ohio State, a national champion. Will he be a great NFL player? I don't know. But he's somebody that I have no issue, just like Jalen Milroe, taking a flyer on these guys on day 3. That's what day 3 of the draft should be all about for the Arizona Cardinals moving forward. Not taking guys respectfully from Grambling State, these small school programs where they can't sniff, an NFL practice roster. We've seen that. Practice squad guys a la Keim once upon a time. How many wasted day 3 picks did he have? Jack Sawyer at 152nd overall. Worst case scenario, I think you get a guy who could be a stalwart on special teams, could be a rotational guy, could replace the now departed Victor Dumakaji. And best case scenario, maybe you tap in to some of that special attribute that we saw every Saturday during college football. And I'm going to stay right in the Ohio State locker room. 7th round pick, 225 overall. How about Lathan Ransom, safety out of Ohio State? He's a homegrown product out of Tucson, Arizona. Arizona Cardinals have a 3-man rotation set at safety this year with the arrival of Rabbit Taylor Demerson a year ago. We talked to Jonathan Gannon and Nick Ross at the NFL Combine. They're bullish on Taylor Demerson. They want to get him on the field. Jalen Thompson's in a contract year. Jalen Thompson's making $10 million. Budda Baker was just re-signed. I think the Cardinals start to sniff around some late round rotational safeties to at least just lube up that pipeline a little bit, get it going for the Arizona Cardinals at the end of the day. If they were to move on indefinitely from Jalen Thompson, Ransom's a guy, big physical guy, handful of turnovers this year, right? Again, just like Jack Sawyer, love the pedigree of the university, former top high school recruit coming out of Tucson. To me, again, 7th round pick, do what you can. Jonathan Gannon, defensive back, safety savant. Could the Arizona Cardinals tap in to big-time programs? Well, I've got them going Michigan, Arkansas, LSU, Bama, and Ohio State twice. What do you think? Who would you rather pick for the Arizona Cardinals in your mock draft ahead of 2025? Are the Cardinals a playoff-worthy roster at this point? Drop a comment, leave a like, and of course, become a diehard. Check out Fran Duffy's complete draft guide, All City Network, gophnx.com.